Manchester United are bad in the Premier League. Is there anything new else that we need to say about? Of course, yesterday I did not make a video because I was so, what's the word? I honestly did not have the urge and the strength to watch Manchester United lose again and make a video about it. So this time, I gave myself a break. I wanted, and I hope you guys are okay with me giving myself a break, but I wanted to focus on the entirety of the season. I wanted us to actually look at what Manchester United has done this season, breaking records that are so unwanted that it literally puts shivers in my spine. Manchester United, the biggest club in England, one of the greatest clubs in the world, have gone through abysmal season. I just want to talk about situations that might have literally flown over you guys' heads this season in terms of what and how bad we have played. First things first, Manchester United, this is the most Premier League defeats in the season. We have now suffered 18 losses. This is Manchester United's worst when it comes to losses since 1974 season, when we got relegated. That's the key part. We got relegated, and this season is our worst since then. Funny enough, I think this team is even worse than the team that got relegated. We just fell into a situation that we had three teams that were just, or if not worse, than Manchester United. That's how bad it is. Second thing that we are situated here in this game is that we have had the longest winless streak in the Premier League history this season. Longest winless. I know it's a mouthful to actually say, but Manchester United went 8 consecutive league games without a win. 8 games without the win. That means since we got back from the last international break, we have not been able to win one Premier League game. Piece that together. One Premier League game we have not been able to win. And it's also then compounded with the fact that we have had a total failure to win back-to-back league games this season. That guy that was growing out his hair until Manchester United wins 5 games in a row, brother, your hair is going to be so long that your girlfriend will be looking for a bust down after that. Your hair will be so long that it will be touching your butt at this point. Straight bust down, edges and everything. That's how bad it has been. Failure to win back-to-back league games. For the first time in Premier League history, United has not won 2 consecutive matches all season. Do you know how crazy you have to be so bad to not be able to win 2 consecutive games? I think that is literally relegation form. Not just that, it is our worst home records in decades. We lost 9 times at Old Trafford, a place that was once a fortress, a place that once people trucked up to Old Trafford, trucked up to Manchester, they were scared to death the moment they saw the stadium. Not even in it yet. The moment they saw the stadium, because they knew it was a prerequisite that you were going to be 2-0 down and you have to fight your way out of that hole. However, Manchester United right now in this season has lost 9 home games, if I'm not mistaken, matching their worst ever home record from 1930 to 1933, 1934, and 1962, 1963. Are you serious? Our lowest point in the total club history, the entirety of Manchester United since we were birthed. This is the lowest that we have gotten. There was a saying in Premier League that about 2-4 years ago to about a decade, the goal is to get 40 points for some players, so teams. If you do not want to get relegated, get 40 points. And Manchester United this season have not been able to get 40 points. Out of literally 37 games, we still have not been able to clock 40 points because we are stuck at 39. That's how bad it is. And then we look at our managerial win rate. It's the worst it has been. Under Ruben Amorim, United have a point per game ratio of 0.92 points per game. Oh my God. This is lower than Paul Jules, who is infamous for his 0.94 at Derby County in the 2007-2008 season. Now I back Ruben Amorim. But I've said this thing a long time ago. Sacking Erik ten Hag when they did, with backing him the way they did, was a mistake. It was a mistake, especially because you did not have the team to actually replace him. That is where the problem came from. You get me? Despite their struggles in the league, they have surprisingly been strong in Europe. We understand that, unbeaten in all three European competitions this season. However, their domestic form, historically poor. Historically, it is a difference in this situation. I can't even fathom how bad we have been. It is mind-blowing, and then to compound that, you have the most matches without scoring a goal. United have failed to score in 13 matches, their worst tally in the Premier League era. Should I continue? Fewest clean sheets in a season. They have managed, in this entire season, Manchester United have managed only 4 clean sheets in all of the season. It's a shocking stat for a stature of Manchester United. It's a shocking stat. Most goals conceded in a Premier League season. Bro, we continue to break the wrong records. We continue to be so bad that it is mind-blowing that at this point, every record that comes up on my page is just a red record, is just a negative record. Most goals conceded in the Premier League season. United have let in 72 goals in their worst defensive record since the league's inception. And then to tie it in a bow, this has been the worst finishing position in the Premier League history. We are currently 16th and could truly be 17th by the last game of the season, because we faced Aston Villa. Aston Villa are in a race for the Champions League position in 5th place, because you have the likes of Chelsea, Aston Villa, Manchester City all competing for that spot. So it's not going to be a pushover kind of game. Oh, we have qualified for Champions League, let's play the young players. While Manchester United might be in either a post-UEFA Europa League win in terms of that high, or they could be literally in the depths of frustration based on the loss that they might incur on Wednesday. That's how bad it is. So I'm literally saying it here. If Tottenham Hotspur win their last game, Manchester United would probably be 17th. That's how bad it is. Now, Manchester United have had rough seasons before, but this one stands out as historically bad. Here are some past seasons that compare to the current struggles right now. 2014, post-Ferguson collapse. After Sir Alex Ferguson retired, Manchester United finished 7th after winning the Premier League the year before. It was at that time the worst ever Premier League finish at that time. David Moyes was sacked before the end of the season and Ryan Giggs took over temporarily. And then you look at 2021, 2020, 2022. Even Ronaldo could not save us. Despite Cristiano Ronaldo's return, United finished 6th with just 58 points, which was at that time the lowest in the Premier League era at that time. And then you look at 2023-2024 season, Erik ten Hag's nightmare. United finished 8th, their worst finish since 1989, and had a negative goal difference for the first time in Premier League history. Brother, this man literally broke all the records. Yes, he gave us trophies. He brought back trophies to United. But my God, were we really bad in the Premier League. And then, of course, the current disaster, 2025 season. This season is shaping to be their worst ever. It is shaping to be Manchester United's worst ever, with fewer than 40 points and 16th place looking inevitable. It's not something that we are even arguing at this point. It just looks like this is what is going to happen. Now, I've said all these things and I've gone so deep into the records that Manchester United are breaking, but less hopeful, because I am a pessimistic person. Not pessimistic, but optimistic. I'm someone that believes that a glass half full is a good thing, and you should look at it being as full as possible rather than look at it being empty. So what can Manchester United do? Before we even do the positive part, how does this decay that we have seen Manchester United go through affect this historical franchise? Manchester United are historically bad this season. Will have significant long-term effect on Manchester United. First things first, financial impact. The poor performances have led to reduced in revenue in European competitions, sponsorship deals, and match day earnings. Missing out on the Champions League has cost them millions and millions of lost revenue. Money that we could have used to get better. Second thing, managerial instability. This was one thing I hated the most, because we had so many years of excellence in Sir Alex Ferguson that the moment he left, it was a carousel of managers. It was ring around the roses. Your pockets are full of roses of managers, because you call back and someone else comes in and is a whale again. It's a cycle again. The club has gone through 6 managers since the last decade, struggling to find stability since Sir Alex Ferguson retired. And then the next one is what blows my mind the most: the declining of player quality. United's ability to compete with the highest level made it harder to attract, let me rephrase that. United's inability to compete in the highest level made it harder to attract world-class players. Many talents have now preferred clubs like City, Real Madrid, or Bayern Munich. Manchester United used to be a dominant force in the Premier League. It was just like Bayern, where if we found somebody that was a super talent in the Premier League playing for a lower tier team, we would just go there and say, hey, come play for us. And it will be done in the next 2 days. That's how good and how dominant Manchester United was. We did it to Dimitri Berbatov. We did it for Michael Carrick. We did it for, who else? Carlos Tevez. These are all examples of players that Man United went and dominated and said, hey, come play for us. And they came like that. Now it's the same thing that we are seeing Real Madrid do. It's the same thing that we have seen Bayern Munich do. But Manchester United have now sunk in a place that we need to splash out a whole lot of money in order for us to get players to come play for us. That in its own self is truly scary in my mind. And then the one thing that this leads to is the fan discontent. It's mind-blowing how United fans right now are truly at odds with the club that they love. That's the breaking part. That's the heart-wrenching part. We love this club so much that it hurts to even watch them at this point. It hurts. You get the likes of the protest against the Glazer ownership has intensified, with supporters demanding structural changes and a better leadership. However, it is sad for me to even think about, because it does not look like the Glazers are going anytime soon. That's the sad part about this situation. And then you look at the last but not least about the disappointments that this deterioration has caused. Premier League competition. The rise of the mid-table clubs like Aston Villa and Brighton has made it even harder for Manchester United to reclaim their dominance. The Premier League's financial strength has allowed smaller clubs to sign top-tier players, narrowing the gap between United and the rest. There was one thing we knew before. Man United had so much money that they outbid any single person in the Premier League. However, right now it's not the case. And I think it's a good system that I believe that La Liga should actually start, because there's something you call, and you might not know this, and this might be a little bit too technical, but in the TV pool of money, I think the big clubs only get about 2 to 3% more than the rest of the Premier League. While in La Liga, the big clubs get about 60 to 70% more than the rest of the Spanish La Liga. And that's usually where the difference is. That's why you see Premier League clubs, the last team can beat the first team because they have the money to get really good players in order for them to have an opportunity and a chance in the Premier League. And then you see La Liga. The La Liga is always going to be Real Madrid, Barcelona, Atletico, and the rest. That's the sad part about it. However, Manchester United, our struggles have reshaped our identity. It has literally forced fans and the team itself to start rethinking their approach to management, recruitment, and club operations. That's how bad it is. Last week, we heard news that Manchester United are looking forward next season to be in the top 8. Oh my God, in the top 8. That's how United have fallen. That's how much Manchester United have fallen. I know this video is getting as long and it's getting really long, but let me go into the last positive part. So the question is, what are the steps that Manchester United can do to improve our future? First things first, we need to start getting ambitious targets. We need to start putting our ambitions in terms of the players that we need to come to Manchester United high. In terms of the place that we need to be high. We cannot be doing top 8 finish. The club needs to aim for top 4 or top 6 at least. Next season, especially despite their struggles this year, has to be. We need to aim for that. We need to aim for a top 4, top 6 finish. No more, well, you can definitely do better, but you can't do any less. Second thing is the squad overhaul. There needs to be a true lot of players, because they have gotten into habits about losing and gotten into habits about not understanding what it means to be a Manchester United player. Third, financial transformation. The club has announced a corporate restructuring plan to improve their financial sustainability and return to profitability after 5 consecutive years of losses. I think that is definitely a good one that Ineos has been able to bring to Manchester. And last but not least, this is a little bit of a tactical adjustment, and I'm not going to go in depth into the tactical adjustments because that's not what this video is about. However, analysis suggests that Manchester United must improve their passing from the back, set piece efficiency, and midfield creativity to compete at the highest level. And funny enough, I would add finishing in front of goal, because those are the 4 things that we need to do. We need to get a better person passing out the back, and I don't know, because I know Andre Onana is good at actually playing the ball on his feet. So we need to get better at passing out of the back. We tried to do it against Chelsea yesterday, and Chelsea just pounced and pounced, especially when we got past the first line of press. The likes of Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez absolutely just dominated that second line. We need to get set piece efficiency. This year we have been better in actually us converting from set pieces, but we need to start getting more creative. We need to start winning balls, and efficiency is not just about us scoring. It's about us getting the first and the second ball in order for us to break on a transition. That's also one of the things. That's also part of being efficient in set pieces. Midfield creativity. We have lacked so dearly somebody that can sit in between the defenders, can demand the ball with his back to the play, and actually build out of that situation comfortably. We have lacked that. That's since the likes of Casemiro coming in, because there was a time where we were going for Frankie de Jong. We all know that season. We all know that summer. How long it on and on. We are still looking for that kind of player. We are still looking for that kind of profile. And then for finishing, that's the simplest to actually solve. Just go get a finisher. Just get somebody that loves to score goals more than they love to breathe. Just go get somebody that is so hammered when even when he wins, that he's so angry that he did not score. That's the mentality we need to get as a striker. And if you do that, Manchester United will start competing again. Anyway, I've rambled on and on. Let me know what you guys think about this down in the comments. It's been a long one. I hope you guys watch till the end. And if you are watching at this point of the video, comment down, United, United, United. We get back to where we were, at the top of the Premier League and at the top of Europe. Let me know what you guys think about this. Comment down below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.